Sims against Silas. I don't know how good stealing a Zach over Silas is. And
Do it.
that's going to be locked in. So the second Zach mid game with Lee Sin jungle and Aphelios into the bot lane for Shogun.
Dude, I love seeing Zach mid.
Yeah.
Also, as a preview for the rest of the tournament, Caps has like 30 games of Zach mid
Nice.
as well on his solo queue account. So it's not going to be, I don't think this is the last we're going to see of Zach mid. I do think it's an acquired taste. You basically lose lane a lot, but your gank setup is really good, and then your team fighting is just really dynamic, as any Zach is. Like, you just have to bridge the early game, and his mid-late is super bonkers strong.
Yeah.
It's also had one of the highest mid-lane win rates for, like, close to 3 years. It's just so, let's say, difficult to persuade a mid laner to put a bunch of games on his Zach mid. But now that it's been on the world stage, maybe this is the outbreak.
If you beat Xiaohu, everyone's like, all right, we're loading it up.
Yeah.
Because do you remember post-Worlds 2017, I think, when MF Ashe came out from Rocks Tigers? And it's just like, every solo game was MF support for like 6 months straight. And it finally fell off, but like every game is like, this is a counter to Zyra? No, every game MF support. And it's like a 30% win rate because it's a counter pick only. So Zach mid comes through if it wins here.
All right, let's catch up a little bit on the draft.
Yeah.
Lots of bot lane bans coming out from Saigon Buffalo. Xayah Kai'Sa really trying to attack Gala's champion pool, but they've also left up Tristana. Tristana's not good into Aphelios, but is likely the third best champion for Gala, so he could just do it anyway.
Yep. Hovering around a bunch of different AD carries, but I think it does make sense for Trist here.
Ashe's better matchup.
Yeah, a little bit more afraid against Leona. No natural escapes to burn cleanse, get away, and between those cooldowns it gets tough because, I mean, Zach can follow up, Felix can counter up, Tristana is the lock. I also like Trist for comp reasons. Good into Zach. If he's eating over the wall, if he's in fog, you can't ult in time, but like, you can still get the ult at some point and knock him out of his own ultimate. He's just like bouncing around out of range, whatever. Ming on Rel makes a lot of sense. Nautilus another big one that he plays, but Engage Tank definitely a likely option for him. And we're waiting for the very end to see what the counter to Fiora is. Now, Zach, I want to point out, is actually a good top laner as well. Shen's support coming through as extra defense. So the top is solid. Actually has decent damage overall. Also very good at following in a Vi-Die. So if Way's like, we're winning top lane over here, Ming just kind of shows up, they get a 3-1 out of nowhere. Lilia is the Fiora answer. Lilia is so good in a lot of these melee matchups. Now, Fiora does have some innate dashes. Like, you know, if you're like walking at people, it really sucks against Lilia, but Fiora does have some agency here. But Lilia, I'm a huge fan of. They've got a lot of match damage as comp. I mean, Lilia and Zach both run demonic probably in this game. Pretty good CC, pretty good AoE. If Saigon Buffalo get ahead, this comp is very good.
Yeah, I love the creativity. I also love the conversation that happened on Twitter after last game where everyone's like, man, jungle is so weak. Like, let's Elyoya deserve better than that. I mean, Saigon Buffalo just decided to play 3 junglers. It's just 2 of them have now decided to go in the solo lane. So maybe that confirms jungle is weak, that you're just playing jungle champions in lanes so you can get farm. But I love it. Double melee with Lee Sin. Let's have some skirmishes happen. This is going to be a very scrappy game. There's a higher potential for front-to-back team fighting from Saigon Buffalo than there is from RNG. I think RNG is just going to be throwing themselves all over the place, and they're going to try and win this one fast.
All right, so Lilia Fiora, not a matchup we see really commonly in pro play.
Don't say.
Yeah, you know, surprisingly, you don't see it commonly. Looking at a bunch of solo queue data, which obviously, of course, can always be suspect. Fiora seems to win really early skirmishes, but will tend to lose priority over the lane. So, you know, by around level 6, Lilia's gonna have enough move speed, enough levels that she's not gonna get bursted out, not gonna lose the grass trades anymore, and gets to just have perma-prio, get things like Rift Herald, and move on from there. That's the expectation. Yeah. Obviously, player skill matters a lot.
Yeah, and if you didn't watch much LPL, you'd think that, like, oh my goodness, this Psycho is blind picking Fiora top. That was really common in the LPL.
Yeah.
That's just what happens. It's a different type of lane in that league.
All right, well, we are on to the Rift. RNG can secure second spot in the group. It would guarantee exactly third for Mad Lions. It would mean that Mad and Saigon Buffalo would play a best of 5 for elimination tomorrow. Winner would play second from Group A the day afterwards. RNG would wait for 2 days to play the third, fourth winner from Group A. Or Saigon Buffalo wins, through a tie for second. Mad Lions joins the whole squad. They play each other to figure out who's 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, would definitely be a continuation of our every game counts mantra.
Every game counts.
Of our casting set. Also, shout out to, I believe, Molecule on Twitter, who told us that we cast together in 2019.
Yeah.
Which I'd forgotten about somehow.
Yeah.
But it is true, because he showed me the screenshot.
We also cast together MSI in the group stage. I forget the Twitter handle, but thank you as well. I liked your tweet, so best, and the shout out. So we have cast together 3 years ago internationally, but we are here indeed. So on we go. Ming wants to spot the fact that, they are starting on the bot side. BJ has done blue buff. There's no gameplay here whatsoever, but it's guaranteed information. You obviously can't, sweep the walk forward, so RNG guaranteed know where Lee Sin is starting, and they know, okay, likely 3 camp top side, at least a possible 3 camp top side, and Breathe has to play around with that information. Has run Ghost, by the way. I think it actually makes a lot of sense against Lilia, where move speed differential is such an important part of the matchup. Froggy takes pretty heavy trades, and we'll see how much he can trade his health bar for Xiaohu's mana. Worth pointing out that Zach's spells cost percent current health, but the healing of percent max health. So the lower he gets, the cheaper his spells are, and the more he functionally heals the result.
Yeah, definitely something that is very important when you're jungling too. If you don't think you're getting invaded, it's important to use your health potions later, because you want your health to get low early so that your blobs heal you for effectively more. Then use your health potion before you gank. But that's irrelevant for the mid lane Zach.
It's also worth doing when, I actually saw this from BJ as well, you also don't want to heal potion before Gromp, because Gromp's heal is raised based on missing health. And so he didn't chug a potion until he started Wolves to get the biggest Gromp heal possible. So another optimization for any junglers out there. If you're not going to lose your Gromp, heal afterwards.
I want to see how aggressive the Shen lane gets with Ming and Gala, because you definitely don't see that combo that often. It's definitely because Gala got heavily banned out, but it'll be whether or not kind of the player skill overcomes the bans. But if they have a third player...
flash, that was beautiful. Shogun is gonna die. First blood, literally perfect from Ming as the Vi comes over as well, and Gala is 400 gold richer.
That was so good.
That was literally perfect.
Yeah, and also perfect timing with Wei arriving. They're going to be able to at least push him off the minions, definitely chunk him back to base.
Second jump. Doesn't want to go for it. Doesn't want to be stunned potentially near the turret, but does reset rocket jump if you land the 4th shot on the auto. And there is no XP being gained. This bot lane is already absurdly over. Tristana is an early game snowball champion. Smite for help. No. It's not even close.
Wait.
Doubles handed over. Xiaohu's winning mid lane. They're winning the jungle. They're winning bot lane. Who cares about Fiora Lilia? This game is doomed.
He just solo killed them at Crab?
Yeah.
What is happening? That just, to me, that just shouldn't happen, but it did. So everything is going the way of RNG to move on as the 2nd seed in this group.
Well, time to buy and get your money. Get some recall stop as well from Breathe with the wave in. Yeah, actually a pretty good spot for him, it looks like. It is going to, I believe, push still slowly towards Hasmid, but still going to lose some farm along the way. You? Nah, not. Get the health, but
there's a very small buffer on the very end of your...
Yeah, last quarter second, eighth of a second, something like that. Damage itself will not break a recall. Ani goes towards Frozen Heart Rush.
Yeah, so BJ comes through at very low health. His mind is telling him no.
He's like, Zach, come on, bud. So Zach at no point actually had, really leaves the wave. It wouldn't have changed much. BJ does go too aggressively, but
yeah.
If Froggy dropped 2 CS, he can at least safeguard out.
Yeah, true. If Froggy was able to arrive, then maybe they have a chance. But that's just very ill-advised. I think he sees the play. He knows that Vi's on the bottom side, so he thinks that Xiaohu's just going to back away in a 1v2. But Xiaohu knows his burst and sees how low BJ is. It's also probably... BJ might not have realized how low his health was. You're so used to just winning a 2v1 and having the mid laner run away.
Yeah, sure.
I can understand why he'd go for it, but just very ill-advised.
Shadowing mid side right now, wants to find the engagement. Xiaohu will get a double knock. He actually burns his own flash because he was afraid of what the engage could be. Was right to do so because the 3v2 goes in though, but everyone's here. Taunt might mean nothing. They're gonna get him back. Taki sadly grabs double buffs, but Wei goes back in. Thankfully for him, there's no cooldowns back up, but there's no way you win these fights anymore. Gala coming around. This one with Zerkryu's not a bad set of damage. Will collect the wave. Here's the engage. Red buff means a bit of a slow rocket jump back to safety while still being in range for the rest. They're gonna brawl and flash out for Taki. Doesn't matter. Damage for Froggy doesn't matter either. His ulti means nothing. And RNG get one back.
Double buffs eventually find their way on to Gala's Tristana. It felt like a very ineffective roam until the fight just decided to continue. Oh man, I think this is probably a good time to bring up a conversation I had with Emily, who watches probably more LPL than anyone else on the LCS broadcast. But there's this kind of discussion that has gone around for years about, like, what are you fighting for?
Yeah.
Right? Because traditionally in League of Legends, it's like fights need to have a purpose. Like, oh, we're fighting to gain control of bot lane so that we can take Dragon. Or we're fighting so that we can eventually get this turret. But in LPL, like, a lot of times the mindset is just different. I think this is true of the VCS too. Like, no, you're fighting because you think you can win the fight.
Yeah.
Like, the fight is a purpose in itself, and that tweak is like a slightly different way of looking at League of Legends. And if you do it for long enough, you just get so used to fighting, you do see angles that other regions do not. And not that this is an example of pristine League of Legends, like those were really ugly fights, but the mindset that gets you there is just, yeah, you take the fight because you think you can win the fight. It doesn't need to give you bot prio or top prio or rift prio.
Right, I mean, that just feels like, hey, why do you gank? Because 400 gold is good, right? Like, because killing a champion is, you don't farm and I do. So like, yeah of course, right? And you know, we see this all the time. So yeah, the jungler's shadowing mid, like, make sure the wave goes in, because if they gank me, I'm dead. But if my jungler's here, we win the 2-on-2. And like, just extend that to the entire game where it's like, I kill cannons because I like 90 gold. I kill champions because I like 400 gold.
Yeah, exactly.
I like it. I mean, it's fun.
Yeah, like, why'd you do that? Because I thought I could kill him.
Yeah, because it doesn't
killing
a
have
champion
to be
is good. Like, yeah, that can be its own goal. I like it. Well, we get a fun one here. 1,500 gold lead, though, as we crest 8 minutes into the game. Early Ocean Drake as well. I know, casting with Dagda a couple days ago, he's like, yeah, in the LPL, we always feel like a dragon free 10 minutes. Like, we're getting 23-minute souls constantly. Like, yeah, RNG with control. Find a time to grab the first Drake of the game, moving towards the second.
Yeah, and Xiaohu continues the action in the mid lane. I think it's expected that BJ plays a lot around mid lane just because Zach is there, but really, Xiaohu's kept the wave in a really safe spot to make it difficult for a Zach Lee Sin to come and gank, and then when they show in mid lane like that, it just enables Wei to be able to take this Rift Herald thanks to the move of Ming's Shen.
Bot wave is on the tower, and it looks like Gala going to be dropping a bit of farm as he's back from his recall. Has Noon Quiver, the power spike every AD carry loves. Zergreaves Noon Quiver, definitely solid for early on to the game. But an attempted play, one auto shorter getting the fourth pop, but regardless, looks like he didn't want to take a heavy trade from Shogun, and he just takes a health lead. Ulti will easily come back up in time for the next dragon play, even a cleanse would at this point. So no danger there, just going to get his farm into the tower. Not a danger in the world here for the now 76 CS AD carry.
1.7K. I believe Gala is off to the races.
Oh yeah.
He will definitely get Mythic. Well, he won't definitely get Mythic first because he has Berserker's Greaves and it looks like Shogun has skipped boots. So he's at least going to keep combat power relatively close. But it's going to make him a lot more mobile.
Breathe catches the wave in time. We are seeing the move towards Frozen Heart still, of course, for Husband. Does have quite a few auto attackers. Even Silas, honestly, cares about his attack speed. Getting his passive off, definitely a little bit relevant. But Husband trying to get into the spot where, like, okay, once I'm no longer in danger from the Fiora all-ins, then I can start making the kiting really annoying. We can get towards Demonic and feel pretty good about it. So they're kind of waiting for that scaling to happen, but they're just trading farm in the meantime as the game goes a bit poorly for Saigon Buffalo around them. Yeah, on their own little island, and things are on fire on one side.
Yeah, just holding Rift Herald a little bit longer for Wei, trying to find the right window for taking it down. Be curious to see how they use it. I think generally speaking, when you're Vi, because your gank is so lethal, you're hoping to be able to get a kill before you drop Rift Herald, because then that'll likely give you 4 or 5 plates rather than just dropping it mid lane for 2 plates. Here's that mid lane gank though.
Looking to find the, yeah, they're gonna get sleep as well. So here comes Shadow. They buy some more time. Is gonna be good enough? There's a question, kicking him back. They get the kill, and it's a delivery. Ming gets a very good taunt, holds his flash as well. He's always gonna be safe. Wei coming around, so nicely done to get the Shen ulti out. I thought we were gonna see a top dive with Ming riding in on Wei, killing the Lilia, and then cracking an entire tower for Fiora, but that's all preempted. Ming now on a 3-minute cooldown. Great gank on mid.
Yeah, the Lilia is just not there, and that's like the type of gank you dream about when you're Lilia. Like, yeah, what if I just run down mid and just like randomly throw an E out? That helps you get a kill.
Get a sleep out of it too.
But it was perfect in it. I think bought them enough time to get the damage down onto Xiaohu, and and get the kill. Keeps him in this game.
Oh, little danger. Does have his own passive, but if there's no follow-through, yeah, he's like, if I get Bloblets there, TP not even available at the point in time. Gala will take an ulti. Gonna be fine. Still has cleanse.
For the slow. Yep. Still detonate if he wants to, but just gonna save the mana. Okay, Froggy.
Spirit damage. Froggy coming in. Does not have his own ulti. A flashback. The Vial. Huge damage. Is it enough to kill BJ? Needs to get out. 300 HP left on him. Will stay alive. They need to block the abscond abduct. He might burn. Oh, he barely survives it. Plate still crashed. 3 in the mid.
I mean, technically defended. Very low health Zac. That's the type of defense you can go for when you do have your passive up because the turret will protect you. BJ almost dies in the process, but overall, I think an adequate defense. And a pretty good Herald drop by RNG as well. I think if you're not going to get a full turret, dropping it mid is the correct choice.
Sure, and enough pressure on bot lane, they couldn't go for Tristana apparently. So, okay, is what it is. The bot lane still being pushed in. Shogun is farming pretty well. Top 3 at Worlds so far in CS per minute on average across all games. So has been very good at farm, has been very good at trying to be the late game carry, and of course, still in the running fighting for second out of the group. A very, very strong player for sure. As Divine Thunder has now come through for the first 2 of RNG on the top side.
Yeah, also worth pointing out, not that he's going to break the record in this game, but Shogun currently has most kills in a single game at Worlds. When he played Isurus, he had 16 kills on his Aphelios in that game.
Seems good.
That's going to be hard to beat, I think, for the rest of Worlds. That one might stand throughout the whole tournament.
Make sure he gets rid of the wards inside the lane. That is one thing I pretty much only ever see in really high MMR and Pro is warding inside the lane to track the possible roams. Obviously, anyone with really good wave clear just like takes the wave out of mid and then like walks bot or something, and you can actually see them do that instead. So important to keep that vision. But he's got sweeper. He's like, no, I can now roam if I want to, and indeed walks towards the bottom side. Doesn't do a whole lot there, but has the possibility.
Yeah, second dragon up on the rift at the moment as well. You can see everyone in RNG really setting up around that quite well. Good control of vision in both the top and the bot river. Gala keeping the bot lane completely shoved. Jungle and support staying grouped up together to clear vision. All of this very sound, textbook, practiced, and they look to be able to take this dragon uncontested.
Looking solid right now as they stack up the second Drake. And yeah, as you mentioned, uncontested because yeah, nobody's really around talking to fight for some wards. And everyone knows the timer here, but the power differential is just simply too high. Shahu's already in mid, has the Lee Synergy just in case. There's the Drake going down. Everyone just jumps over the walls, gets right back out. And RNG have put the notice on that, hey, by the way, in 24 minutes, we're going to be a Hextech Soul. Find a way to fuzz before then, otherwise it's going to be out of grasp.
Yeah, Hextech Soul.
Yeah.
That's my pick.
Yeah, I went Cloud. Sadly, it's tied for third, I think, so yeah, unlucky there. Fight in the top side, though, could look half decent. Still putting a couple of shots back and forth. Diving in for quite a few vitals, but and yeah, I mean, that's the big thing, right, is you get the Divine Thunder pop, that's a huge health differential. Sometimes you get a vital there as well. Grasp all feels good, and able to just kind of drain tank back up, even though Oblivion Orb is in. I'm sure it's got some healing. Breeze is just way more damage per chunk.
Yeah, such an interesting matchup, actually, in top lane. So much about just your auto attack range and, like, unironically auto spacing to get your auto in, dodge the Lilia Q, get back in for another one. Breeze just kind of putting on a clinic there, gets a play for his trouble, and or rather gets a demolish proc for his trouble and takes that trade even lower. Yeah,
and in the matchup, he's really not shy about using riposte aggressively in every single trade. It's like, I'll just block the first Q, and then if you want to come back in for W, I'll just ult and bite you, and it's going to be no problem. But able to, get a huge health differential on those fights. Information known, they know where BJ is. Huge damage available. Ult's coming across. They're going to try to burst him. Shields up, buys a bit of time, but the stun's not going to matter. They will knock down the Lee Sin, and an escape is coming through. But the rest of the team still coming across. Ult, pretty good damage there. Will they get the pop? Yes, Shogun gets the kill on the way, and they're still coming in for more with the Hexgates. Talking gets a bit low, stays alive, and it's a double kill for Shogun. Over the wall, he's drowsy. This will be a guaranteed triple kill, and it's going really good now. Only 1,400 gold separates. The crucial part is 1,000 of that all went onto the 80 carry.
16 kills against Isurus, 3 so far against RNG. Arguably, the RNG kills are maybe more valuable if we're doing conversions. But at the moment, that's exactly what they needed. They do give over the mid turret to Tristana during this whole fight, but the discussion we had earlier about why do you fight this could be asked right here for RNG. Ultimately, they fight this because they think they can win. But at the time, no one on their team was near, and it was a 2v3. They think they're just going to win it, though. But then when Xiaohu comes over, they still think they're going to be able to win it. Can't see the minimap in this replay, but you can notice Tristana not there whatsoever. And red, white, don't fight is the saying when you're up against an Aphelios. Not heated here by RNG. He stacks up so many white chakrams and kills them all.
And they just swapped dual lane top functionally, right? Like Aphelios was just laning top into that point to play around that side of the map. It was like, wonderful, a team fight's erupting around me. And they get a decent shot at the game now. 2,000 gold difference, though, still pretty big, right? It's 2-0 on Drakes and 2K gold. This is a lead for RNG in this game. But yeah, signs of life for the Gale Force Aphelios. Still down most with Phantom Dancer against Gala, who, during the replay, mostly solo killed the bot lane turret. Herald was claimed by Frogget, so he's got something there, going for the Sunfire Demonic kit in the previous game. Very common AP Bruiser build is indeed on this one again. So we will probably see Saigon Buffalo get their own second turret before too long. But Gala is still gigantic.
Yeah, at least checking the gold between the two of them, it's now within 600. So even after Shogun went up to get those 3 kills, he's still down 600 gold just because of how many plates and how much solo gold Gala was able to acquire. Still looking at him to solo carry this game. However, I will say, like, the front-to-back protection for Shogun's Aphelios is really high. Unless RNG gets a really good flank, the peel that Zach or like a Frozen Heart Lilia, those 3 bruisers that Saigon Buffalo have can create some pretty strong front lines or fight lines for Shogun to succeed. So kind of a dark horse for an upset here. Wouldn't have thought that after watching the first 2 minutes of the game when Gala got an immediate kill and Xiaohu solo killed BJ to get double buffs, but they've done a really good job to not let this game get out of control and stay in it.
Definitely impressive. I'm going to keep on scaling. The Frozen Heart, of course, is in on the way towards his Leandry's build at this point. Nothing else going to do with the Sapphire Crystal realistically, so is going for burn stacking, but not going to be buying any health for a while here on the Lilia. Gore Drinker is in, Steel Cap's in, and we are seeing the 3-item spike build come through for Aphelios. Lord Dominic's always a bit of a sidestep for a while. It is a bit of a power trot unless you're against immediate armor stackers, but not that much right now, but it'll give him the biggest 3-item team fight when that happens. But of course, we are far from this. We're at 3rd Drake coming up in 15 seconds.
Yeah, and I really think the Kraken Slayer Phantom Dancer spike for Tristana is huge. Like, just the synergy of the attack speed from the Phantom Dancer with the Kraken Slayer passive, and the fact that at this point in the game, you're getting many points in your rapid fire. Like, it's giving him 95% attack speed, and when he activates it, you just shred people at this point in the game with Tristana.
There is literally not a better single target DPS build than Kraken PD. It is actually the #1 build possible on Marksman, so Gala very much strong, and you're on a power trough here with Last Whipper before you're against any aftershocks, any armor stacking. But they do on the river for now. Is there a play? The question. 11,000 health on Drake. You can't sneak this.
Yeah, and it's so hard for Saigon Buffalo to start this when they don't have bot pile. So look where Fiora is. Breathe has pushed that wave completely up. So basically, if Saigon Buffalo try to approach, their retreat is going to be cut off. Trying to do Drake without mid or bot prio is generally suicide, but that's kind of what they're going to have to do if they want to take it. They'd have to fight their way out of this one. And they may end up just conceding it because they don't have a way of protecting themselves if they do start it.
Wave finally reaches the tower and they say, okay, time to earn that one, so how's it going to go over? Should claim the cannon, no problem. Shogun gets some wolves. They want to walk back down, a couple of the wards go away, but now mid is pushed in. Gala going to go ahead and cheat up on that wave, and now it's a mid lane being collapsed in, so Shogun walks over, gets that one here as well. At least they are funneling gold towards the right person. It is always Aphelios taking the safe route, getting the money. Froggy wants to help, shares the XP. But now look at who owns the river. RNG, play the patient game long enough that everyone from Saigon Buffalo is stuck back in their base, and this dragon is now incontestable.
Yeah, just decide to fight the soul, I think. It is ultimately a fairly smart call. We talked about the power spike that Gala's Tristana was on. We could see that Shogun actually hadn't even completed his Lord Dominic's regards, let alone has the 3-item power spike that he will ultimately need. So I think it would have been possibly a game-losing fight. If they get aced there, then they also lose Baron, and they're down 5,000 gold, whereas now they can hopefully kind of freeze this gold lead around 2,500 and then contest the soul.
So fun rule of thumb is that for high-level play, 400 gold per minute is a good, solid average for farming rolls. So in 5 minutes, you're going to earn 2,000 gold each, which means if your next item spike is 3,000 gold out, unless you are giga-funneled farm, you are not hitting the item spike. And right now, we got to play towards the top side. Not going to happen for much. Easy jump over the wall, keeps him safe, no Leonot lands, but it means that Shogun, by all rights, shouldn't finish IE in time unless he is, again, being given a second lane of farm, or there's a fight early that breaks out, he gets triple kill.
He'd basically need 3 or 4 kills to get IE, so he's not going to have the, quote, spike that he needs. The hope, I think, would be that they can at least get Mythic completed for Hazmed and get everyone on 2 items. That would be their best chance. And then I don't think Gala's going to get to 3 items by then anyway. Also want to give a quick update on just the state of this group for those of you that might have been joining us at the start of this game. So DRX has won the group.
5-0.
Yeah, if RNG wins this game, then there are no tiebreakers. RNG's second in the group. Mad Lions is third in the group. Saigon Buffalo's fourth in the group. That's very simple. When Saigon Buffalo wins, if it happens, it does create a 3-way tiebreaker, and that's when the win time would actually matter. So if Saigon could win faster than 32-36, they'd actually have the top seed in the 3-way tiebreaker, with RNG having to play Mad in the 3-4 game first. But if they're below like 35 minutes, about 34 minutes, 49 seconds, they would have a much lower seed in that tiebreaker. So not super likely that they come back. They're definitely not thinking about, guys, make sure we win fast. Yeah. But just for the fans at home, if they want to track, assuming Saigon could pull off some type of miracle fight at this next Hextech Drake.
They start coming back. We'll start talking about who's going to get side selection and whatnot. Because, yeah, you drop from being like the number 2 team to number 3 to number 4. It's where you are in the bracket, who gets side selection. And all that can be spelled out if they start getting to winning position. I like your rundown on the same, though.
Yeah, close enough.
Yeah. As we knock down this, 2,500. As you mentioned, remains relatively flat. The difference here. Last Whisper is in for Gala, taking a slightly cheaper stab at a 3rd item. Cheaper than Infinity Edge by 400 gold.
This will definitely help him kill Lilia. I think it's pretty common, I'm seeing, actually, the armor pen item built before IE, but time to fight!
All right, ulti comes in, Gale's Force towards the tower, Stun's going to land, Flash the safety, the kick back, and just deletes one. Taki has to burn a stopwatch because he was in danger. Q lands on the Gala, but without kick, you can't get much more. Now, kill was given to Shogun, so 300 gold comes in, making that play that little bit easier as they trade aggressively up on the top side. Froggy, though, as long as he can get to his blobs, maybe he can't. A ulti comes in, and he's got enough to pick up that he'll stay alive, but the health bar is low. He wants to ditch out. Yeah,
burns his ultimate as well. It'll likely mean the turret goes over for Xiaohu, and that gold lead will increase. They're just going to keep going, even though they lost the last one.
Good hasn't come into range, but this means blue buffs to be handed over. More gold stolen away. The gold may in fact grow. Froggy actually onto a Thornmail 2nd item, so not going for AP stacking, not going demonic, but actually wants to be a bigger front line, cutting the healing. If he lands this down, it's 40% Grievous, onto Silas, onto these double Divine Sunders here as well.
Yeah. Also, you can see the stopwatch for Shogun. I don't hate it. He was never going to make IE anyway, so he's just hoping to have some clutch miracle moment to win this Hextech Drake fight. I think in their minds, if they lose this soul, the game is probably over. So 1 minute now is about as late as anyone would want to recall. You can see RNG moving back out onto the map. 3 items completed by Tristana, so Gala will be the powerful point that they play around. And they're going to try and get as many lanes pushing as possible so they can get great setup onto the Drake.
And crucially, with Flash down, I think Shogun feels completely unsafe against Vitality, and it's like, I actually need this or I'm always dead to the combo. Shen flies over the top, Fior says hello. Xiaohu ults me with my own supports R button. Yeah, okay. Probably need a stopwatch for those. I think rightly so. 30 seconds till Drake. If you're trying to like YOLO rush Baron, this is exactly your timer. You get just enough time to finish this off and somehow hope they don't check for you, but mid is going to be pushed in first by Saigon Buffalo. They're not going to greed for mid turret. The gold couldn't even be spent if they got it. And ultimately Gala just safe with his double buffs. It is just fine there, but Breathe knocks down bot too.
It is just so impossible right now for Saigon Buffalo to win either side lane matchup.
It's a slow, but he's able to jump back, so not bad there. It's going to be a small timer until Xiao can get another ulti picked up. I think it might have been timing out, needed to burn it no matter what, but can't get a new one yet.
Yeah, I think Saigon Buffalo's best chance here is just try and brute force their way through mid, get that wave, move into river, and then just YOLO flip the Drake. It's so bad already with where Breathe is, killing the inhibitor turret, but I think Saigon just needs to start it. Literally sacrifice the inhibitor, just try and take this dragon and hope they don't get it. They are in a tough spot.
The goal is just go. Is your smite better than Waze? Because the fight has got to start. Red, blue, guns for Shogun, solid AoE. There's red, white. There's red, white. Are they going to get into range? Is there going to be a fight? The smite's going to be claimed. Inhibitor will go down. They choose to say, you know what, screw it. You had the Drake. We get inhibitor for not getting soul yet. But the effort we put in early on forced you to the side of the map. And by the way, there's still a Baron angle.
Yeah.
There's still a Baron angle. They're running across mid and saying, okay, you got to contest this one now.
Yeah, and I really love what Breathe did there, knowing that if they do try and kill him, they just get Baron. They have to check this. Look out!
Gets ulted, gets locked up, doesn't have a single way to live, and immediately there's no jungler. Immediately there's going to be no mid laner. Chunklow not quite dead. 5-man sleep.
5-man!
Good enough. Riposte in. Huge time block, but they're diving. They've already got Vi. How about the rest, though? Can they kill Fiora? Yes, they can. The front line holds up. A stopwatch buys time. Xiaohu flashed the safety barely, and all they're going to get is Froggy's passive. Even that. A beautiful bait by RNG, but turned around stronger by Saigon Buffalo.
Saigon Buffalo know how to fight.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if the setup's not pretty, but the 5-man sleep was a 4-man sleep because Breathe threw the riposte on it, but he marked all 5. It completely turns the fight around. Shogun buys enough time with his stopwatch. They stop the dragon, completely worth the inhibitor sacrifice to buy themselves more time in this game. And using your 400 gold per minute benchmark, Freak, there's now 1,600 gold on Shogun, so he will have IE by the time the next fight happens. Watching this one more time, Violet goes down to kill the jungler, but Shogun gets so many chakrams from that ultimate. Looks like he's got about 12 right at the very start of this fight. And then Hazmed
Flash QR
with the clutch flash QR. And then I believe Taki flashes to chain the stun onto Wei and allows them to take the back end of the fight.
At that point, the damage is there. Xiaohu does what he can. W than Zhonya's, but even though Gala is getting as much damage as he can from over the wall and actually nearly gets Froggy with it. I mean, if that last attack was a crit that's passive down, does it change anything? I don't know, but you do get the Zac passive if he rolled a little bit better on the dice.
Oh,
super
interesting. Shogun actually sells his broken stopwatch to pick up the IE right now and get that earlier power spike. Kind of necessary, I guess, since they are threatening to lose their inhib, and it looks like RNG's not going to give them a chance to catch their breath. They're constantly going to be pressuring to end the game with Fiora while kind of daring around the Baron area. Very tricky situation for Saigon to get out of. Again, when you don't have a champion that could actually match Fiora or Sylas in side lanes, they have to kind of hope to win a team fight.
Warmogs, Anathemas, maybe something else like a Ryle's or a Demonic coming in next for Zac. He's been able to hold frontline pretty well, right? Hasn't been in too much danger. At a certain point, you also just can't tank like Tristana. AD carries outscale tank items. It's just like by default. So at a certain point, you're like, might as well try to kill Sylas faster. Way back over the wall, gonna stay safe, no problem. Not too hard for a Vi with Flash to dodge pretty much any CC. You're 2 minutes away, though, from Hextech Soul, and last time, that gave RNG an entire inhibitor. But those timers are kind of synced up, and bot side is already where Saigon Buffalo is playing toward because they want Drake control, and they're taking down the inhibitor farm. So not a ton of pressure ultimately gained by RNG. Now Breathe is still playing for the wave, so they're not really losing farm from it. Breathe still gets the wave, and someone else gets the wave, and they just kind of trade back and forth. And now, Wei, Xiaohu, walking up, information known.
He might go.
Shogun has flash, but no longer is able to get a stopwatch this game.
Yeah, the longer the game stays in this state where, like, even though they're not losing anything yet, they're kind of constantly at risk, Saigon Buffalo, because they have so much less vision, and this could happen.
Passive's down already. I think he might just be dead. They don't have Lily TP. They can't force him to revive, but Breathe knows he can be collapsed upon and decides that he should let Froggy get up after all. Ulti down for Breathe.
Yeah, and
Ghost used as well.
9 seconds on the TP for Lilia. TP up for Zac. Oh, it could be a flip.
It's fully on vision, though.
Yeah.
TP is burned. So that is a 4-minute cooldown forced out of Froggy. With cooldown boots, it's shorter than that. It's 3 and change, though still decent amount of time has been gleaned with that one. We'll see if Lily can actually play the bot lane, but the resets come in, T-minus 45 seconds. Drake is coming up, and guess what?
Yeah.
It's again the chance to exit soul for RNG.
Yeah, this time Infinity Edge is completed, and this super minion that Lilia is currently clearing, that is the last super minion wave. So even though the inhib isn't back up yet, they have stopped spawning, so there won't be the super minion threat, but it's going to be exactly the same situation. Saigon Buffalo doesn't have pressure in any of their side lanes. They have to brute force their way into river by grouping up in a lane, and that's going to buy time for someone to set up a split push. Let's see how RNG plays it, because they have Fiora in a completely different spot at the moment. They might be trying to open up the other inhibitor this time.
I mean, this is the right way to use split pusher, right?
Then they just have to give away the Drake. He's not in position to do this. This is bad by RNG. Yeah, they're gonna try and get Baron, but
they're not even there. Like, Vi is behind the Dragon Pit. If they were trying to, trade for Baron,
I think
he
the
should have already
Buffalo
been
can catch it. I think they can force a fight here.
Well, we'll see. Timer's going down as fast as it can. Gala definitely very lethal. 6,000 health on Baron. 5,000, 4,000, 3,000, 2,000. Baron claimed. RNG cross maps the required Drake answer.
Again, this is one of those like acceptable trades for Saigon Buffalo, even if they get it. I didn't have my eye completely on him. I'm not sure if they had to hesitate to walk in since RNG had laid that trap earlier. They weren't sure if it was a Baron rush or not. But it's just, again, about kind of buying time. They themselves now have 2 Hextech stacks, so extra haste, extra attack speed to improve their teamfight power, and just need to withstand this split push moment while Baron is alive for RNG.
We'll see if Shogun gets himself towards Bloodthirster or a Guardian Angel. I think both can make some sense in this context, but in a lot of cases, I feel like as AD carry, if your GA is popped, they just kill you on respawn. But if your team is threatening enough, sometimes you just need those 4 seconds, and it's actually going to work for you. We'll have to see which one he decides he wants. You can always rebuy his stopwatch.
Yeah.
It'll be broken, but it'll switch to a GA. 8-5. 6,000 gold difference, though, right? Baron has grown that gold lead.
And a death cap completed by Xiaohu Sylas. We know from last game when Zeka got his death cap on Sylas. That's a pretty big power spike. Also looking at the game clock approaching 32 minutes. If this game gets to 32 minutes and 38 seconds, even if RNG loses, they would still be top seed in the tiebreaker. So they have held on for long enough to at least improve their standings, but they're likely looking to just win this game and get second seed.
Flash in onto BNJ, and again, he is the lead in the exact same spot he died last time. Mid's gonna fall. Vino ulti means nothing too threatening anymore, but Leona ulti now stolen away by Sylas. Top already pushed in here by the Vi.
Oh, this is big. They might get all 3 inhibitors here, or just the game.
Already diving in for this one with the team split up a little bit. They get a stopwatch out of Xiaohu, but that is it. Froggy, of course, no passive. Gonna be quite low, has to get to the fountain, and he gets just destroyed. Phillies is gone, Taki is gone. This fight is over, this game is over. RNG will claim the second seed. They will shut Saigon Buffalo down. And it means we know how Group B ends. RNG is the final boss of Group B. They are the second seed. Mad Lions will face Saigon Buffalo tomorrow for the tournament live.
Definitely took a little bit of finishing as RNG had a massive early lead, still wins this one in 33 minutes, means they are the second seed from Group B. They will eventually play the number 3 seed or the winner of the 3-4 match from Group A in order to advance to the main stage of groups. But overall, I think this was a pretty solid game by RNG. Gala farmed up a storm. It actually hit 6 items by the time that final fight was over. And RNG is going to be pretty happy about that.
Sure. Second spot, they still do have to play a best of 5, as you mentioned. It's going to be a cross against Group A.
Yeah.
There are more games today. Group B has no tiebreakers. It went clean 5-0 to 0-5, but Group A, we've got that 3-way tie. Fnatic aced the group. Congratulations.